Dallas Cowboys fans are still trying to process what unfolded under the bright lights of Thursday Night Football in Detroit, a game that was supposed to be a statement opportunity, but instead turned into one of the most controversial matchups of the entire NFL season. What began as a high-energy showdown between two NFC heavyweights quickly transformed into a national debate filled with officiating disputes, momentum-shifting calls, and an outcome that has left much of the football world sharply divided. The atmosphere inside Ford Field was electric as the Lions and Cowboys took the field, both teams knowing the stakes were enormous. From the first snap, the pace was relentless, with explosive plays, deep passes, and relentless pressure on both defenses. Detroit wasted no time asserting itself behind the steady leadership of Jared Goff, whose command of the offense was sharp and methodical. Every drive felt intentional, every snap building tension, as the Lions showcased one of the most balanced offensive attacks in the league. Meanwhile, Dallas countered with its own firepower, refusing to let the game slip away early as both teams traded blows in what looked like a potential shootout for the ages. Here on this channel, where Cowboys Nation gathers every single day for the latest Dallas Cowboys news, breakdowns, and real-time reactions, the mission has always been clear: bring the most accurate, timely, and passionate coverage surrounding America's team. That purpose became more important than ever following this matchup, because what happened against Detroit wasn't just a tough loss, it became a flashpoint for heated league-wide discussion. Cowboys fans across the country immediately began dissecting every moment, every flag, every no-call, trying to understand how a game so full of elite talent and high-level execution could also become so dominated by controversy. This wasn't just another loss in the standings. This was a moment that challenged trust in the process, belief in consistency, and confidence in what fairness really looks like inside the modern NFL. On the field, the Detroit Lions executed their game plan with remarkable precision. Jared Goff delivered one of his strongest performances of the season, demonstrating calm under pressure, pinpoint accuracy, and complete command of the offense. His ability to extend plays and find open receivers kept Dallas on its heels throughout the night. But it was the breakout performance of Jahmyr Gibbs that truly ignited the stadium. Gibbs was everywhere, slicing through the Cowboys' defense with speed, vision, and confidence, finishing the night with 3 touchdowns that shifted the entire momentum of the game. Every time Dallas clawed its way closer, Gibbs responded with another explosive run or perfectly timed cut that left defenders grasping at air. Detroit's offensive line created clean lanes, their play-action passing kept Dallas guessing, and the Lions' rhythm never truly stalled for long. By the time the final whistle blew, Detroit had secured a 44-30 victory, strengthening its position near the top of the NFC and reinforcing its status as one of the most dangerous teams in the conference. Dallas, however, did not disappear quietly. The Cowboys' offense showed resilience, grit, and flashes of its full potential throughout the night. Ryan Florin emerged as one of the few consistent offensive weapons, hauling in 9 receptions for 115 yards and a touchdown in a performance that proved his ability to step up on the biggest stage. Dallas moved the ball effectively at times, capitalizing on mismatches and exploiting coverage gaps, but the rhythm never felt fully stable. Every promising drive seemed to be accompanied by a momentum-draining moment, whether through pressure breakdowns, stalled red zone possessions, or the controversial penalties that would soon dominate post-game headlines. While the scoreboard reflected a double-digit defeat, the tape told a more complicated story, one of opportunity repeatedly surfacing, only to slip away under the weight of execution errors, defensive lapses, and disputed officiating. The controversy began building early when a safety initially credited to Dallas was overturned after review, a decision that immediately shifted field position and emotional momentum back to Detroit. On replay, opinions varied wildly across social media and sports networks, with many fans arguing the reversal defied common sense. That moment alone set the tone for what followed. As the game progressed, several missed offsides calls appeared to benefit the Lions, particularly on third downs where Detroit defenders seemed to jump early without consequence. Those missed flags extended drives and deprived Dallas of potential stops that could have altered the flow of the game. Each missed call added another layer of frustration, and the growing perception of inconsistency escalated with every quarter. The most explosive moment arrived late in the fourth quarter when Dallas, in the midst of a comeback attempt, was punished with an offensive pass interference call against Ryan Florin on a critical down. The flag wiped out a significant gain and pushed the Cowboys backward at the worst possible time. Many analysts immediately labeled the call as borderline at best, arguing the level of contact did not justify the severity of the penalty. Within minutes, the clip spread across the internet, igniting accusations that the officiating crew had influenced the outcome. Prominent media personalities openly questioned the decision, and the conversation quickly shifted from football strategy to officiating integrity. For many fans, this moment symbolized the entire night, Dallas fighting to stay alive while critical rulings worked against them at the most damaging moments. Across the NFL this season, officiating has become one of the league's most scrutinized issues. Week after week, controversial calls have dominated headlines, with fans increasingly questioning how consistency is measured and enforced. Data suggests officiating crews operate with roughly mid-60s accuracy rates, a reminder that human error remains deeply embedded in the game. But when those errors appear in high-profile matchups with playoff implications, the reaction is amplified exponentially. The officiating crew, led by veteran referee Alex Kemp, called 14 penalties in this game alone, evenly split between both teams. Yet the timing and impact of several of those flags created the perception of imbalance. Whether the calls were technically correct or not, perception became reality in the eyes of many viewers, and once that line is crossed, trust becomes difficult to restore. For the Cowboys, this loss extends deeper than one night in Detroit. Sitting at 6-6-1, Dallas now finds itself walking a tightrope in the NFC playoff race. A team built on championship expectations is instead battling weekly inconsistency. Defensively, yielding 44 points exposed vulnerabilities that opponents have increasingly targeted throughout the season. Explosive offenses have found ways to stretch the Cowboys' coverage, exploit missed tackles, and wear down the front seven. Offensively, flashes of potential continue to emerge, but cohesion remains elusive. Dallas can score quickly, yet sustaining momentum over 4 full quarters has been a recurring challenge. Every mistake now carries double the weight, and every remaining game becomes a pressure-filled test of resilience. Meanwhile, Detroit continues to surge forward. Their 8-5 record reflects a franchise that has evolved from rebuilding curiosity into legitimate NFC contender. Goff's leadership, Gibbs' explosiveness, and a coaching staff unafraid to attack aggressively have transformed the Lions into one of the most entertaining teams in the league. Their ability to capitalize on turnovers, maintain offensive balance, and dictate game tempo makes them a matchup nightmare for nearly any opponent. Yet, even amidst their success, the cloud of controversy lingers from this game, creating an uncomfortable narrative that threatens to overshadow what should be a celebratory stretch of football for the franchise. The broader implications stretch beyond just these two teams. This game reignited debate over the future of officiating in the NFL and whether technology should assume a greater role in enforcement. Replay reviews already exist, but their limitations are being exposed more frequently as games grow faster and schemes more complex. Fans demand accuracy, players demand fairness, teams demand consistency, and yet the league remains caught between tradition and technological modernization. As the pressure mounts, moments like the Cowboys-Lions clash will continue to fuel skepticism about whether the system can evolve fast enough to meet the expectations of the modern fan base. Looking ahead, the Cowboys face a critical upcoming matchup against the Minnesota Vikings that could define the direction of their season. Every snap from this point forward carries playoff weight. Dallas must find answers defensively, tighten execution offensively, and overcome the emotional toll left behind by the Detroit controversy. Whether frustration becomes fuel or distraction will determine how far this team can truly go. The Lions, on the other hand, aim to protect their momentum, stack wins, and push toward a favorable postseason position where home field advantage could shift the balance of power in the NFC. This game, more than anything, served as a reminder of how thin the margins truly are in professional football. A few inches on a catch, a fraction of a second on an offsides jump, a single flag thrown or withheld. In a league where outcomes shape careers, legacies, and fan loyalty, no detail is insignificant. The Cowboys and Lions delivered elite athletic performances, but the night will be remembered just as much for the arguments that followed as for the touchdowns that were scored. For Cowboys fans, emotions remain raw, questions remain unanswered, and belief remains tested. Yet the season moves forward regardless of controversy, forcing Dallas to respond not with words, but with execution. Whether this loss becomes a breaking point or a rallying cry will be revealed in the weeks ahead. The only certainty is that the road from here offers no room for hesitation. Every drive, every decision, and every moment will carry the weight of redemption. As the NFL season continues to unfold, the echoes of this Thursday night battle will linger as a case study in modern football's growing tension between performance and perception. The sport thrives on passion, rivalry, and unpredictability, but it also depends on trust. When that trust is shaken, the ripple effects stretch far beyond one final score. And for Cowboys Nation, the journey continues. The criticisms, the debates, the frustration, and the hope all collide into the same promise that has defined this franchise for generations: the belief that the next game can change everything.